excited to be here. Yeah. I'm pissed I couldn't make it last week. I was really pissed. Also, it took me 12 hours. I could have driven to Milwaukee in 12 hours. Oh, that's that 12 hours. Visine Concealer, my new band name.
Oh, you have a new band name.
Hey, friends.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the things that are said behind the scenes of Wine Antics Live. Happy Thirsty Thursday, everybody. I'm Jen from Wine Antics. That's Stubb from Cork Envy, also talking about concealer. And any makeup tips that you gentlemen need, that's your dude right there.
That's a fact. That is a fact. I got you covered.
So we're going to start the show off. That is, if you notice the show card or the title graphic, it's all about staycations. And first, I think maybe we should define, as we're getting into this, what staycations really mean and what they mean by comparison to vacations. I think this is a very interesting topic and a new way that a lot of Americans, at least, because I can't speak for anybody else, are looking at and considering their time off. It's not so much about lavish vacations all of the time, but just some time to chill out and relax. So, Stubb, why don't you take a moment, introduce who you are, right? Tell us what you're drinking, and then we'll see what you're up to and move on to staycations.
I am Stubb from corkenvy.com. Renaissance man, great makeup tips for you guys out there if you need them. Tonight I'm in lovely Roanoke, Virginia. I'm summering in Roanoke, at least for tonight. I don't think that's a staycation though, as I will be appearing on my monthly segment on Daytime Blue Ridge tomorrow. Today I'm drinking though the Sweetwater 420 pale ale at the moment. I was drinking a local brew earlier, but I opened the wrong one when I pulled the fridge open, so I'll grab one of those later. I was drinking a Get Bent Mountain IPA. I promise you I'll open that before the end of the show, right here out of lovely Salem, Virginia. We're going to make that happen.
Promises. So we've missed you. We've only had, during this iteration of Wine Antics Live, as you know, we're moving from a 2-month on to 1 month off, so Stubb and I can get some work done, right?
Sure. Exactly.
We missed you for the first show, which was last week, about patio wines. What the hey have you been up to, Stubb?
And I missed all of you. Last week, I was actually going to be on location in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You may have heard of it, where I was attending the Beer Bloggers and Writers Conference, which was, we'll get to that in a bit. That was an amazing, amazing time. And I had a great time. But what had happened was there was a lot of storms in the Midwest. So my connecting flight was late. Well, my original flight was late. My connecting flight got canceled. And then I was nowhere. I was literally sitting in Chicago O'Hare during the show last week and was very sad I couldn't be with you, Jen. But I'm very happy to be back now. Very, very happy.
I don't know if you're actually happy. And fun thing, this is live, right? Fun fact, live. Chris Kern just told me that everybody got to hear our banter as the intro video was playing.
I had a private message to that effect, and I was like, oh, wow.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Thanks, Kern. Thanks for kerning this up for us.
Did we use any words that would be offensive to anyone?
No. Not yet.
Well, come on. You're watching Wine Antics. Are we going to offend you? Probably not.
Sorry, not sorry. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So you were at the Beer Bloggers Conference. Now we have the Wine Bloggers Conference coming up. And now that you've done both over the years, how do you compare the two? Like, I'm really interested because I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't had a great chance to talk to you about it. So do dish.
Yeah, no, we haven't actually had a chance to talk. We've both been busy this week coming back. I will say it's a different vibe than the Wine Bloggers Conference, which isn't good or bad. It's just what it is. Different vibe, but I met people there, and a few people whom I did know or through social media beforehand came up and befriended me and helped me out a little bit. Made a couple of best new good friends, which was pretty awesome there. But was pleasantly surprised that that our friend Diane Latoul, who many of you know from the wine world, if you're in that world, was there as well. So that was a really pleasant surprise that I was able to spend some time with her and hang out. And of course, our friends from Visit Loudoun County, Jen and I were there as well.
Oh.
And now that the Beer Bloggers and Writers Conference will actually take place in Loudoun County, Virginia next year. So I'm very excited about that.
Yay, we get to rehash
Right?
the entire experience of how we met. And we could totally, if you're willing, Stub, we could role play it all out.
Wow. Those early moments of our meetings, Jen, I don't really remember. I remember meeting you, obviously, and we obviously exchanged information and hooked up later. Started doing this show. Well, not hooked up.
I know, but it all played in so nice. Thank you, Stub.
Yes, of course it did. No one ever hooks up at these conferences. Don't even worry about that. We don't talk about that.
Not at all.
No, on a serious note, though, like the first time I really remember talking to you, I think we met at like a session, but then we actually spoke at length at what I would consider an after hours party.
Yeah.
And then ended up getting in contact with each other after, which is obviously worked out pretty well. So here we are.
Yeah. I just had that discussion on Wagner Live. One of my fellow live streamers asked how this all happened. And I'm like, funny
Kismet.
story.
That's what I call it. I call it Kismet. It's Kismet.
Right.
Yeah. That's how does anything happen? However people meet. How did her and Marcellus meet? However people meet people. That's how they met. That's a Pulp Fiction reference for you youngins out there.
Or people that don't track the storylines to the level that you do.
No, Pulp Fiction, seriously. I read that script like 4 times through, seen the movie about 100 times, have the poster, t-shirt, got it all. It was a good film. And then, downhill after that.
Sounds like a perfect movie to watch on a staycation.
I think you're right. What a great transition, Jen.
The one other thing that I talked about on Wagner today, on Wagner Live, was that how much you taught me, right? Along the way that we've been doing this for like a year and a half now, that when I was starting out and just starting out as Blab About Wine, by the way, Blab shut down a year ago this month. So we've been away from Blab for about a year now. But one of the biggest things that you taught me is those great transitions and how to be a better on-camera personality. So I talked you up and down on Wagner Live.
Now I'm going to cry a little bit.
Good.
I'm verklempt.
Good. Get verklempt. And then talk about Pulp Fiction. And then talk about Pulp Fiction as a staycation ready movie.
Yes, it absolutely is. So look, if you haven't seen the film, number one, you're missing out because it's one of the greatest films of the last, I don't know, ever, by the way. It was put together so well. But it's one of those things. So I find Pulp Fiction, and there's a lot of films like this. Oh, this is a great transition, Jen. Now my head's rolling. I've got a whole list, but my head's rolling on this now. So, those films, you're flipping through all your channels and you come across it and you're going to sit there and watch it, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter how many times you've seen it. And I'm thinking of, Pulp Fiction, obviously. Braveheart is one of those. Tombstone is one of those. Any of the Godfathers is really one of those, right? Like we can go further back. It's one of those films you come across, you've seen 100 times, and love. You can quote it almost word for word the entire time, but you're still going to sit there and watch it. And then when it's done, 2.5 hours later with commercials, and it was only a 90-minute film, you're going to be like, oh, I just wasted this Saturday. That's the awesome thing about staycation. You don't have to worry about wasting anything. This is your time. This is all for you, bitches. You do what you want. That's what I'm saying. That's what's awesome about staycation. How about that, Jen?
Well, that just got real. That just got real quick.
I don't know about real. It's real. We're talking about staycation. You're staying at home. You're taking a couple days off. You don't want the man on your back anymore. Take a few days off and you do you. That's what I'm saying. Do what makes you happy. And if you don't have to worry about on a staycation, wasting half a day watching a movie that you've seen 150 times.
That's it? Okay. Or binge watching the heck out of Netflix or catching up on all of the past seasons of Game of Thrones. which I have recently been doing
Oh
because
my
I
God.
am.
Did you see last Sunday's episode? Let me tell you. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
How can you not? Like, I've been making a point in almost every discussion I've had since Sunday to talk about it. Like, there was just so much in this past episode, but I don't feel guilty about it. If I'm on my time off, and a staycation is basically defined as your time off to do whatever you want local. Now, some people consider that to be in your home, or, you know, at your parents' house if they're local, or even in a hotel, right? Just getting away from absolutely everything, distractions. I would even go so far as to say a staycation is somewhere where you don't have this on. Like, that's really the basics of what I consider a staycation, is just that detox period.
I agree, Jen. You bring this up. I've actually tried, and I wanted to do it for a week straight. I've tried to, and I have this goal. I want to turn my phone. I want to turn off all media. Yeah. With the exception of my record player. That's the only thing I will allow myself. I want to turn that off for 1 hour a day. Yeah. And I successfully have done it on many attempts, 2 days in a row. It's just a difficult thing. You feel like you have all of these things to do, especially if like you and I, you're freelancers and you feel like you need to answer everything all the time. And I'm trying to get to a better work-life balance. Like, that's part of the work-life balance for what we do, right? So make it a point for that. So if you're on a staycation, turn off that effing phone and don't answer anything. Who cares what's going on at the office? Guess what? If you get hit by a bus, the office is still going to roll by tomorrow. Now, it may limp by a little bit depending on your projects or whatever. Those people are going to make it by. Don't make yourself the center of a universe. And sometimes staycation, you don't feel like going anywhere. You hadn't had time to plan it. Maybe, you know, dollars are a little tight here and there. Stay home and just do you, and regardless of what that is. And I have a whole list of things and we're going to get more into that later, I think.
Yeah. I just wanted to like quickly define what a staycation was. Cause honestly, I've been live streaming about this and talking about this pretty much all week. And I did get the question early on, what is staycation? So I wanted to start off with that. And I really, as I said, defined it as a chance that you take a break, but you stay local. And local can be you know, within the state of Virginia for us. It honestly could be something that's an easy car trip away. It's just a hotel room at the higher end, or just in your own patio or backyard, or a book and your glass of wine, which I never even actually talked about what I'm drinking tonight as my own personal segue. So I have a Maryland wine. This is a Chardonnay from Catoctin Breeze. And if you're traveling up 270, Catoctin is right along 270 as you're heading up towards Pennsylvania, and they are a great big barn, couple acres, and some rolling hills, and it's just a beautiful place to be, honestly. And their winemaker is this scruff tattoo guy that got his start in winemaking in Pennsylvania, and he just went to a very small college that had a viticulture program. So I always love talking about not only the wine, which Chardonnay itself is a great staycation wine. It's easy, it's relatable. There's many different profiles on it. It can be oaky, it can be stainless steel, but this winery really brings it back to what some of the Maryland roots are, and that you never judge a bottle by its winemaker.
Never judge a bottle by its winemaker. Wait a minute.
Well, he's a tattoo guy. He's a short little guy. He's scrappy. Like, if I could describe Mike, he's scrappy.
Plenty of scrappy tattooed guys in the wine world. Come on.
We've got more of them in the beer world, but
judge a bottle by. That's it.
Never judge a bottle by its winemaker.
Yeah,
on the other end, too.
I was at the beer bloggers and writers conference, right? There's a lot of tattoos and a lot of well more respectable beards than mine there. So yeah, we don't judge that. You judge a beverage by what's in the bottle. I like it.
And even a varietal. Chardonnay can be very harshly judged as well. Just try. They've changed. The profile in Chardonnay has changed so vastly over the last decade that it's not all butter bombs and overly oaked. Some of it still is.
Which means they're coming back to traditional Chardonnay is what you really mean there. I have a friend who claims she abhors Chardonnay. So any wine I give her now, any white wine I give her from now on, and she's like, what is this? And I don't tell her, she's going to be convinced it's a Chardonnay. And since she thinks it's Chardonnay, she's going to think she doesn't like it. But I know for a fact from her drinking other wines with me that there are Chardonnays she would absolutely love. So I've got to figure out a way to trick her on that. But I
take
can't
the label off.
Sauvignon Blanc because it's not a Sauvignon Blanc, right? Like, oh, this is an Albarino, try it. And she's gonna be like, well, Albarino is not a Chardonnay. I've got to figure out a way to trick her on that.
Well, isn't Chenin?
What's that?
Isn't Chenin Chardonnay? No. It's a white Burgundy. Sorry, white.
Yeah, I could probably tell her that.
Burgundy.
No, white Burgundy Chardonnay. Yeah, no.
There
Chardonnay,
you go.
And mostly aged in neutral oak, and so you get that little slight hint of oak vanilla on most of those, but you really get the Chardonnay grape itself shines when it's made properly, even if it's aged in oak.
Yeah,
I've been threatening to do this video for a while. Modern day Chardonnay winemaking. I think I can do it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to commit to do that by the end of the year.
Right. There's the first commitment. One of one of the many things Stubbs says every episode and or every after party. It's either he's going to make a video about that and or a parody.
No. I do say a lot. I should parody that song, or I've thought about parodying that song. That's true. No, I'm making a commitment. By the end of the year, you will see my how to make modern Chardonnay video. How about that?
Okay. Chris Ballard will back up my story here.
I'm sure. Well, no, she'll back up I should do a parody of that. I get that.
So
as will several other people watching us right here. I get it, but that's all right. Okay.
You weren't here last week. You get to be razzed.
Sorry. No, that's fine. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Chris Kern asks, what's your opinion on bag-in-box wines for staycations? Good idea or the best idea?
That is a good question. So one of the things on my list of staycation things, and I'm going to mark these off as we go, because at the end of the show, the ones we didn't get to, I'm just going to read off as a funny list, because I have like 40.
Oh, that's all?
So bag-in-box wines for staycation. Depends on what you're doing. So one of the things on my list is, staycation. Go tend to a neglected area of your home that you need to organize, whether it be a closet, whether it be an entire room, whether it be half your house, whatever. Just tend to that. But have some fun with it and drink all day. And bag-in-box wines, if you're just sitting there getting a little slow buzz on all day, I'm not gonna yell at you about that. I mean, I would hope that you would drink a little bit better, but at the end of the day, why not? Stay in your PJs and clean your house up all day. Who cares? Once again, this is about you doing you. This is about guilty pleasures. I was telling Jen before the show, I hope this isn't something you heard, and maybe you heard me singing it, but I listened to the entire Spice Girls Spice World album driving down to Roanoke today. I ain't ashamed of that. That's one of my guilty pleasures. You do you. That's all I'm saying. Jen, what do you think?
I think I'm having fun behind the scenes looking at all the comments. That's what I'm doing.
I'm not even looking at comments. I'm just going. I'm like Dennis on speed right now, I think.
It's the delicious beer. If I were to have a staycation, if I'm gonna do any yard work, housework, or any of that, I'm being PJs. I'm gonna be not even looking at it.
That's fair.
Dishes be piling up to the roof.
Bothering you, Jen, forever, and you're like, I don't have time to do this. I got the 9-to-5 grind, and the spouse is an asshole, and the kids are assholes, and they got 47 different things to do all the time. You want to go clean this closet? Go clean that closet. That's what I'm saying. If that's not your thing, don't do it then.
No.
That is an option for a staycation, is to get some things organized.
Or you could just organize your pillows by rotating the sides of which you nap on.
Look, I love the yin and yang of where we're going here. I think it's great. Me, I like to have all my stuff in a row and have it organized. So if it's not organized and I get a little time where nobody's bothering me and I don't have to do anything, yeah, I'm gonna go up and clean up the closet or clean up my studio because I just collect stuff everywhere all the time. So yeah.
And for everybody that's on Facebook and on Periscope and on YouTube, if you have any staycation experiences or ideas at any level, please share them with us. We'll read them out loud and mercilessly laugh at you if we choose to, or we'll just applaud you. Like, it's our prerogative.
Jen, you can read comments. I haven't. I'm going to read comments here.
Okay, you read comments. I'll talk about one of my ideas. So my
said that was a neat label on your wine and wanted to know what it was.
Oh, yes.
That's what it was.
It is a very neat butterfly label.
Okay.
It is from Catoctin Breeze Winery out near Catoctin, Maryland, or near the Thurmont area of Maryland. They are a great little Maryland wine producer, one that you would never probably get outside of the state of Maryland, but they are a good example of Cabernet Franc, Syrah, and I'm not hating the Chardonnay. I'm not loving it either, but that's my preferences in terms of Chardonnay. It's a little oakier and a little bit more mallowy than I would prefer. These are technical terms. I love crisp stainless steel Chardonnay where you're just getting a little bit of that vanilla, a little bit of that well-rounded mouthfeel that you'll get with Chardonnay, even like a little oily that is natural in Chardonnay, but not the maturity and creaminess. Nice. I don't like maturity and creaminess that oak brings to Chardonnay. That's me.
Okay. All right. Did that answer your question there, Beer Babe? You can. So I also want to thank the Beer Babe, number one, for joining us. She's a new Wine Antics live viewer, but she was so nice to me at the Beer Bloggers and Writers Conference because, as you all know, I'm a bit of a wallflower, and she really pulled me out of my shell a little bit. No, what she really did was help introduce me to people I didn't know and pulled me into the fold. She was one of many. Good. Thanks for joining us tonight. Really appreciate that. Yeah. All right, Jen.
All right.
Number one, let's get to your staycation.
My dream staycation. So when I was talking about this during the week, right, I was talking about like, it's not just about staying at home all the time. Maybe it does create an element of travel in this concept, but not traveling far. Not something that it becomes a strain or a stress on you, as many vacations do. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg, but a staycation can be a great night at a hotel room or experiencing something that you've never done. So I've lived in the DC area for gosh knows how many years. There's so many places around this area that I've never visited. There's so many restaurants in DC. Like, one of the best ideas for a staycation is renting a super cheap hotel room in a great location, right? I mean, whatever your comfort level is, and then go out and do the things that you take your friends on tours to go do. Or that little area that has a great restaurant, like the Inn at Little Washington here in Virginia, making a nice little day of that and having a luxurious experience if that's within your budget. But there are so many areas around here that I would love to be able to just get a hotel room and not take the phone in terms of anything else but taking photos, right? Just turn it into a camera. Don't make it a media device, and don't make it about spending more time on your phone than you do for yourself or the people that you're there with.
All right. I love this idea, Jen, and I thought about this a lot today or this week coming up to the show. Do touristy things in your area that you would never do, right? So living in the DC area, when we first moved here years ago, people would visit and they would expect me to be this perfect tour guide for all things DC area, right? Yep. You've done this. Sure. Yep. And we've all done this in our towns, right? Whether you live in Des Moines, Iowa, or Omaha, or LA, or San Francisco, or Dallas, Texas, wherever you are, you take out of town friends to all the big touristy things, and you don't really appreciate them, but there's still some things you haven't done, and there's things that you haven't done to the degree you would like to do them. For me personally, every now and again, it's not even a staycation thing. I'm like, you know what? I need a little bit of a day. I'll hop the train into the city from the far out suburb of Alexandria, and I'll hang around the American History Museum more specifically. But those museums, we have great museums in DC, and it's just something I don't personally ever take advantage of. You've got the rat race, you're doing your thing. You're like, oh, it's all the way 7.5 miles. How can I ever get there? Do something touristy on my list. Look at that. Simpatico, Jen. I like it. But wherever you are, there's something cool you haven't seen before, whether it be a museum, a sculpture garden, as Jen said, a new restaurant, or a restaurant you haven't tried, a new to you restaurant. That's a great idea for vacation day. Now, Inn at Little Washington, you could stay there for one night and have a meal, and it would literally be like 4 days in the Caribbean. So,
I know, right? Well, you stay at the super cheap hotel, and then you go to the restaurant, and you get to. Staycation doesn't always mean cheap. Just because you're staying and you're saving some money, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy some luxurious options that are very local. There are beach destinations, at least for us in Virginia, very well priced, and doesn't give you everything that the ocean would because they're riverfronts or estuaries. But it does give you a sense of being at the beach and the different types of foods and meeting the different types of people. So I wanted to actually comment on Children of the Grape, which I'm pretty sure that's Steve, who came by in one of our after parties. He says a great staycation is Amazon wine delivery and call girls.
I mean, look, if that's your thing, what did I say earlier? You do you. I don't know what's legal in your area there. Actually, Steve, I do know what's legal in your area. Hey, if that's your thing, you go for it, brother. I don't care. You do you. Chris Kern on a similar thing said, what percentage one should be wearing pants during staycation? This was actually on my list. No, this is actually one of my tips for staycation. And it is, hold on, I think it was basically do your best to wear little to no clothing for the entire time. I think that's a great, go to the grocery, go to your package store, go to your wine shop, go to your local bottle shop, get all the beer, wine, spirits you need for you and whoever you're spending your time with, and then just get naked and stay naked the whole time. That is some freeing shit right there, people. I'm telling you. Just naked in your own house. Now carry a towel around because you're going to have guests eventually and they're going to sit on the same couches. I mean, be respectful. But also, once again, they're your couches. You do whatever you want to them. But yes, wear as little clothing as possible was one of my tips for a staycation.
That's solid, actually. Like, it's whatever you're comfortable with. Like, for the ladies, it could be sans bra, right? And they have a whole towel for your tatas now. Have you seen that? Have you seen the tata towel?
You know I keep up with all things tatas. Of course I keep up that towel. Yeah.
So I'm giving for the ladies' perspective. If for the men's perspective it is be pantsless as often as possible, for you ladies, invest in the tata towel and enjoy your liberation.
Why the towel though? Is all I'm saying. Why do you?
Because you sweat. It's hot. It's summertime. I
get it, but you're gonna be inside in air conditioning or you're outside. I don't know. That thing was a little weird to me. I don't know. I understand the concept. I understand that some women have more of a problem with that than others. I really get the whole thing. We're not going to go chapter and verse into that. That was an interesting, odd thing for me. Just if you're at home, just take it off. Who cares? Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
This has been a very interesting discussion.
Amazon wine delivery. Just open the door and be like, "Hey, what's up, laser ship driver? Give me my booze. All right, see you later." I mean, come on. That dude's going to have a great story for the rest of the time, and you're going to feel a little freed. And that goes for all of us. I'd answer the door the same thing. That's not just boobs, You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right.
And hello, Lock and Load. As I've known you on Periscope, you've come into a very interesting conversation here on Wine Antics Live tonight. We started with staycation and being very PG, and now we've moved to naked from the waist down and tata towels, just to catch you up.
Right. So last comment on that, we forgot the blow apparently. Well, once again, that's not legal anywhere, but if that's your thing, do it and take the risk. Not my thing, not going to advocate for that. But then Anna, I don't know how it's pronounced. She said, go to a hotel with a pool and a hot tub if you don't have one available. I mean, how cool is that, right? I like that idea as well.
And if you can leave the kids behind, even better.
I mean, I don't want to down anyone having the kids, but
nope.
I feel like, once again, you go to a place with a pool and a hot tub after hours, you sneak in there, maybe you're not wearing anything anyway. I'm just saying.
Lock and Load says won't be the first or last time the delivery men have had someone show up at the door with less clothes than they anticipated. Won't be the first.
Whatever, they're not expecting a tip. I mean, like, who cares? Get your wine and be like, yeah, those are my boobs, or that's my twig and berries. Whatever. Thanks for the wine. Thanks for the wine, stupid. I'm going back inside to enjoy my staycation.
Yes, breeze blowing and okay. All right, I can't read any more Periscope comments. It's just going so far downhill now.
Oh, geez, I can't even imagine what Periscope's reading. I'm not reading Periscope comments. I'm reading comments from people we know on Facebook and they're global. I can't imagine what Periscope's reading.
I know. I think the gist of it, honestly, has been, this is a time for you to, because we're so close to the end of summer, right? We're not really thinking about vacations anymore. Maybe you've taken a vacation, maybe you haven't, but there is still like that, how much can we squeeze out of these last couple weeks of summer.
Sure.
And I know
Of
a ton
course.
of people have, like, a ton of kids have gone back to school in the South, so maybe past that prime. But what can you squeeze out of these last couple of weeks of August? And this is a great option, not to spend a ton of money, to detox your life in a different way, you know, turning off your media, going to a place you've never been, or just like finally giving yourself that permission to binge watch past episodes of Game of Thrones. I'm just saying.
Oh my God, did you see what happened on Sunday, Jen? Let's tell everyone who hasn't seen it yet. All right. So we're getting close to time. We need to wrap this up, right?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about drinking things up. Here's another great tip. Start day drinking at lunch and just don't stop.
Oh, that's a great tip. This is so educational.
Start day drinking, like do a brunch, start day drinking and just go. You and your partner or whoever you want to go with, y'all go start day drinking and don't even freaking stop. Now, you see what I'm doing right now? I'm pouring bourbon. And Jen knows when I pour bourbon, it gets real. So here's another tip I have. Do a bourbon tasting. Grab every bit of, or whatever your preferred beverage is. Grab everything, grab 6 or 8 of those and just taste them, taste through them, compare them, have some fun. We're a drinking show. That's why I wanted to bring it back to that.
Bring it back. Oh, okay. That's right. Bring it back to the drinks.
We've got do a bourbon tasting. All right. Now here's another one that's not. I mean, you can do either one of these while you're doing this. I'm going to say tune into daytime talk shows and remind yourself that you're glad you have a job so you don't have to see that shit every day.
Oh, wait. Or though any kind of really bad reality shows. Like, what's your guilty pleasure reality show?
Oh,
mine.
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars isn't even that bad. No, we're going Jersey Shore. We're going Bachelor. We're going Bachelorette. We're going Desperate Housewives.
I'm gonna go way back, and the man who hosted this originally is now hosting Antics Roadshow on PBS. I'm going with Paradise Island. That was my. Oh no, I've got one worse than that. It was called The Swan on Fox, where they took these women and they basically completely rebuilt them like freaking robots. It was weird. And it was creepy, and that was a long time ago. Those are my 2 really super guilty pleasure ones, though, that I did watch. All right,
mine right now is Teen Mom OG.
All right, you've held your wine up. You're holding your wine up again. Teen Mom OG. Okay, I can't do the teen moms. That's weird.
Because
you're holding your wine up with the butterfly on it, and I was thinking, is there a new reality show called Tramp Stamp? Like Tramp Stamp Dare, maybe.
No, this is a classic beautiful butterfly that may or may not be on many 16-year-olds' lower backs. I'm just saying. Teen Mom OG makes me feel better for so many reasons, because their lives are just full of drama in the least caliber, and it's such a different perspective than my current life. And
yeah, of course.
And there's so many reasons, and it is my one very guilty pleasure that I could very easily sit and binge watch on a staycation. All right, let's go back to the drinks.
I like that idea. Jen, I like that idea. All right, now let me get back to the daytime talk show thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
No, I'm not taking you over. I'm trying to move this forward for us because I know you got a couple more as well. All right, so the daytime talk shows you watch and are thankful you don't watch. What you can also do is make fun of the guests on the daytime talk shows who have the same expertise as you, and scream at them when they're wrong, and scream at the television that you could do way effing better. I'm just saying. Steve Harvey, you had a wine girl on a couple weeks ago, and I was like, what the hell? Seriously, what are you doing? All right, that's me. What do you think, Jen?
Yeah. Well, I think everybody should watch you on Daytime Blue Ridge, because you are 1,000 times better than anybody Steve Harvey could bring on.
Okay, I wasn't fishing for that compliment, but that is really sweet.
But you got it.
Number 2, I actually really do want to meet Steve Harvey, because I think that man he's oddly embraceable, a little body. He's a genius. He's a genius on the Celebrity Family Feud thing. He's really good at that show.
He's really good in that.
He's really good at that show.
I completely agree.
So I've got another one that's actually serious. Cook a new recipe every day that you've been meaning to try. Right?
No,
so sleep in, grab yourself a bagel, and then a couple hours later, start making this recipe and have lunch at like 3:30. This goes into the drinking thing. You're going to need to eat because you're drinking all day. I mean, that's the whole premise of everything we're saying right here, Jen.
Yeah.
You're going to be drinking today. Pull out your good stuff. Do some tastings. Do a vertical. Do a horizontal. Do a diagonal. Here's this diagonally tasting of your bourbons or wines. Who cares? But cook new recipes that you haven't had felt like you had the time to try, and do things, and then try to pair it with some of your favorite beverages, or try new beverages with them. All right, Jen, what do you got? I got one more after this. I want to give you my last one is a doozy.
I think from a woman's perspective, it's maybe taking your staycation and making it a luxury experience. And there is no better day to open champagne than Wednesday. Why? Because it's Wednesday and you're giving yourself permission to be a little bit extra. A little bit something extra. You've got your face mask, your Korean face mask on, right? You've got your nails done because you took a little extra time that day. You got your Tata towel, and you've got a beautiful bottle of champagne. And this can be to a 18-year-old Glenlivet Scotch. This can be that growler that you've been saving because you're hoping a bunch of your friends come over. Whatever it is that you enjoy drinking, take the time in your staycation, because this is about you, and try something that you wouldn't normally drink, and in decadence.
Agreed.
What are you giggling about?
I'm in a 1,000,000,000% agreement with you here, except for the Tata towel. Like I just personally get that. That's it. Everything. I'll go get the mani-pedi. I'll get the massage. I'll get the facial. I make him work around this glorious beard. I don't even care. I'll get the massage, the mani-pedi, the facial. I'll do all of it. The seaweed wrap. Who cares? I don't care about any of that. The Tata towel I just don't get. And champagne. I don't care if it's Wednesday, Tuesday, or someday we haven't discovered yet. Open the effing champagne. Right?
Yep. All right. What's your last one?
All right. My last one is this, and I've got to read it because, you're
at that point and you're drinking bourbon. Yep. Gotcha.
Here we go. All right. Here's the last great tip for a staycation. Write a manifesto about how you're going to make your life better. Share it with several of your friends, and then immediately forget that ever existed 2 days after you go back to work.
That sounds like nothing you would do on a bourbon night.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just saying. Everyone's like, got this time, we're staying home, we're doing this. Whether you're relaxing, you're like, we got to relax more. Whether you're cleaning, is like, oh my gosh, that wasn't that hard. Whatever it is, everyone decides they're going to do way better in their lives. They'll tell their friends how great it was, and then 2 days after they get back to work,
they forget.
It's like it never happened. Yeah. What I'm telling you to do is take time for yourself. Make a little mini staycation for yourself once a week. Just even if it's an hour or two. Take some time for yourself. Don't worry about other people. Do what you want to do, whether that's crocheting, whether that's a crossword puzzle, whether that's drinking a lot, whatever, tasting bourbons against each other, whatever it is, do that thing for an hour or two a week, and we'll all be way happier, because most of the stuff we worry about most of the time really doesn't matter to our happiness. Love the people around you who love you, and you'll be happy.
This self-help moment brought to you by Dr. Stubb.
Call me Steve Harvey.
Wrong complexion.
I didn't say I was Steve Harvey. I was asking Steve Harvey to call me.
So, okay, call you. Okay.
No, I'm not saying call me Steve Harvey. I'm saying Steve Harvey, you call me. Like, Steve Harvey, call me. Okay. Wow. Well, that just made it weird. All right, good. I'm not going to cry now. All right.
Now that we're on a weird moment. I'm done. You're done? You're good? All right. Well, let's talk about real quick what's happening next week.
Absolutely.
All right. We've only got a couple more weeks of August left, and I can't believe that. But we're getting into, if we're not already there, harvest season and fall time. So we're gonna talk about some of our fall favorites coming up next week for Wine Antics Live, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday. So we don't really know how that's gonna unfold yet. I mean, look how this unfolded. This was not what we were planning for Staycation, but this is a very fluid conversation, and we enjoy the way this flows.
Good.
It was good. It was totally good.
Answer some comments. We did it. This is a success. 100%.
Check.
100%. Best
On that
show we've
note,
ever done. Right here.
Fall favorites next week. And I will have the Zoom link up in Facebook, so you can join us in the after party. And we look forward.
Please do join us in the after party, friends.
Yep. Stubbs on Bourbon. Join us for the after party. You know it'll be good.
I'm saying.
All right. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Good night, friends. Cheers.